Hey, this week in our daily Devos, we are going to be looking at the story of Noah. Now, in worship, we've been looking back at what happened first as our world began. And we looked at creation and what we can learn from the rhythms that God put inside of all creation, including you and me. Last week, we looked at Cain and Abel, and we saw what happens if we allow sin a foothold in our lives. This week, we're looking at what happened what appears to be very quickly in our world. But 9 generations, about 1,500 years of humanity have passed since Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden. From the lives of Adam and Eve, who knew the pristine innocence and beauty of God's perfect creation, mankind had quickly fallen to the corrupted world of immorality that Noah lived in. Paradise had become a sewer, and that was not acceptable to God. So look at what Genesis 6 tells us. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. And the Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. So the Lord said, I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them. Every thought was evil. Every action was violent. And every day was typical. In other words, it was life as usual. The world was morally collapsing all around them, but they were busy with life the very day before the flood. One day before they were going to be destroyed. They were buying and selling. They were marrying and getting divorced. They were returning Christmas gifts. Some were celebrating a national championship, and others were nursing their wounds from it. They were getting up, they were having breakfast, and maybe they were listening to a daily Devo. It all seemed hopeless until verse 8. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So the questions I hope you ask after hearing about and hopefully reading and thinking about this part of the history of our world is, what exactly does this tell me about God? And I spent some time talking about that in the message, so I hope you'll listen to that if you missed it, because if all you see is a big angry God, you missed it. But I also want to make sure that you see God is a just God, because what was true in Noah's day, we've been promised. Jesus is coming back, and he's setting things right. Well, with all that was going wrong in the world, verse 8 gives us hope. But Noah. And in our world, but you and me. And we'll spend the rest of the week talking about how we need to live so our lives stand out in a dark world. But today, look for what you find out about God in this story. And if you need some help, again, check out the message from yesterday. Read the story yourself, just to make sure we're not trying to paint a picture of God that isn't there. Enough people do that already. I hope you'll take the time to get to know about him and get to know him from what he has told you about who he is in the world and wants to be in yours. Have a great day.